Hi everyone, this is Chaz, and this is a video journal for Tuesday, August 21st, 2012. And this is my first video journal as a resident of the city of Chicago. The background you see behind me is the student lounge area at Chicago Theological Seminary, where I am sitting and just kind of relaxing for today. Decided to do a test run to get used to the bus routes. So a lot has happened since my last video. Obviously my last video was the last one that I did down in the St. Louis area. So here's what happened. Friday morning on the 17th, I went to the apartment and waited and waited and waited, and David was supposed to show up at around 7 o'clock, or that's what his text message said. But in true David fashion, he was an hour and a half late. Didn't get there until about 8:30. By the time he got there, pretty much everything had already been loaded. All the boxes got loaded into my Uncle Keith's truck. And my father and my brother were late also with the U-Haul. So basically, once they arrived, all the furniture was loaded into the U-Haul, and we got into the truck, into the cars, and drove away, and said goodbye to Belleville. It was really hard to see David after 2 months, because I still love him. I still want him back, but with each passing week, each passing month, that becomes less and less likely to happen. And then, so we got to Chicago, got to the apartment where I'm living, over in the Bridgeport neighborhood. Finally met my roommate. I was slightly concerned that he might not be there, and he at first didn't hear me knocking, so I was a little bit concerned at first. But we got everything into the apartment, got my bedroom set up, been working on getting boxes unpacked. I've got one box left, which is the big box that has all my artwork and a lot of the bigger books in it. So I primarily just have to try and figure out where I'm going to hang the various pieces of art. Yesterday I went, so that was Friday and Saturday and Sunday that I did all that. Sunday I went to a church. I went to St. Paul's UCC in Chicago, which is in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. Really nice church, really nice people. It's an open and affirming church. It's a larger congregation that's open and affirming. They have an LGBT and friends group that has regular meetings there, and the third Sunday of every month the LGBT group goes out for brunch. And this past Sunday just happened to be the third Sunday of the month, so I was invited out to brunch with the LGBT and friends group. It was there that we started talking about ourselves, and it was divulged that I was a CTS student, or that I was going to be a CTS student starting my first year in the MDiv program. And because one of the people going there was one of the pastors of the church and knows that when you go to seminary your money's really tight, she and her husband picked up the tab for my lunch, which was very nice of them to do. Then I left the restaurant that we had the brunch at and was walking back to the bus stop, and was waiting for the bus. And one of the other people who went to the brunch with me, or with us, who is apparently a news anchor with WGN News, she stopped by and offered me a ride home, which was also very nice and very kind. So Sunday I had a great deal of human kindness shown to me in someone paying for my lunch and someone giving me a ride home. And then I went kind of had a date, I guess. I really don't know if I'd say I'm dating yet, but I met this new friend, a guy named Kevin, who lives in the South Loop. We went out for food in Chinatown. Went to Chinatown for dinner and watched True Blood and had a nice quiet evening. Then I went home and slept. Yesterday was Monday, and yesterday I got my driver's license changed, got registered to vote, got my Chicago library card, so I am now officially 100% a resident of Chicago. Because my driver's license says I live in Chicago, I'm registered to vote in Chicago, and I can check out books at the library. So today is Tuesday, and I did the test run to get to school. So I now know some of the various ways to get to school each day that I'm going to have classes. Next step is trying to find some kind of a part-time job, maybe a student job if there are any available, and we'll see what happens. So that's what's going on. My roommate is nice. He's not around a whole lot. He has a boyfriend that he spends a lot of time over at his boyfriend's house, so he's rarely home in the evenings. So that's, it's quiet at home, which, I still don't have internet at home, which it may take a little bit longer for me to get internet at home, because Comcast, who is I guess the primary internet and cable provider for Chicago, they wanted a $50 deposit for the internet and for home telephone service. They claimed that my credit rating required a $50 deposit, which is odd because according to my bank I have an A+ credit rating. So either they're lying and it's not the credit rating, they just want a $50 deposit, which, if everyone had to pay a $50 deposit and that was the case, fine. But what they're basically saying is that my credit requires a $50 deposit, which, if I would think my bank would be more honest with me than a cable company would be. So, if anyone watching this is in the Chicago area, if you could let me know what other cable internet telephone providers are available other than Comcast or AT&T, I would appreciate it, because I really don't want to pay Comcast a $50 deposit, and AT&T's internet speeds for the neighborhood where I live are really slow. It's only 3 megabytes for AT&T as opposed to 12 megabytes for Comcast. So that's what's going on. Still miss David. I actually saw him yesterday because I had left some stuff in the apartment that I needed for school. Everything was really hectic on Friday, and so since David was there, he picked up those items, and I got them back yesterday, and it was really difficult because David said after he handed me the folders, he says, "Well, I guess I'll see you around sometime," and the fact that I am a sometime person in his life now just really hurts more than words can express, and I lost the ability to speak and I just had to turn around and walk out and walk away from him. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, so this is my video journal. As usual, if you have any questions or comments or topics you'd like to see discussed in future video journals, feel free to leave a comment either on YouTube or on Facebook or Google Plus or wherever. And at some point, I will probably try to do a video journal where I take you on a tour of of CTS. So. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. This is Charles May, new resident of Chicago and new student at Chicago Theological Seminary, signing off. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless. Bye.